I am asking also to add to the table a 14th item. It's a discussion and vote for authorization of mayor sign change order 6 with GPI for the downtown connector. The reason this we're asking for this at the last moment is that the approvals were not all in through the departments because of people being out for the holiday weekend. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on adding this to the table? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. This is a motion to authorize the mayor to sign change order 6 with GPI for the downtown connector. Earlier, we had gone through the reasons for this change order, which when we added it to the capital budget, it's fuel and asphalt adjustments, additional excavation, additional asphalt milling on Veterans Way, Excelsior Springs Avenue, and Loftberry Road that were unanticipated, landscaping increases, and costs related to the acceleration of the project to accommodate the opening of the farmers market. Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, we've had a meeting about this, and all of these should have come in as change orders, just like the way, Commissioner Montenegro has been bringing it in along for the third fire station. And it's really regrettable that this did not come in through that route. I believe we were told that a resident engineer from GPI will be attending the meeting to answer questions.
I believe they're here.
Can you please come and answer some of the questions we have? So, why were change orders not submitted?
So a little bit of a background on this. This is a federal...
Why don't you come closer to the mic?
Sorry, Commissioner.
Yeah,
my name is Chris Cornwell. I'm a project manager at GPI. So I'm not the resident engineer, but I am representing the project here tonight. This is the 6 change orders. The ones up to change order 5 were all run through the city and approved. Due to staffing and discussions last year, this is a federally administered project through the New York State DOT. Basically, this was a unit price bid, so there was already a unit of schedule values established. So basically, we were under the direction to keep the project moving forward and not delay the project. We were in discussions with the city, but at the time it was sort of discussed to package it together to bring this to the council at one time.
Did that go through council approval, though? That decision to put it in a package and then put it forward to the city council? Or was that one employee decision?
It wasn't an employee decision. We were working with at the time, Jen's previous employee, Tina, who's no longer with the city in planning. But we had a series of meetings starting back last fall into the spring to review all these items with DPW. There's a very detailed change order of all the work that was done. We went through.
The main thing is that these should have been brought to city council while they were happening, so that this is not a post scenario, it's a while it's happening scenario, just like fire station is doing right now. They have change orders almost every meeting.
Right, and unfortunately, as we were the engineers onto it, we're presenting the information. I think there is procedural things on these federal aid projects that need to be worked out in the future much better on that.
And we have spoken to the person in planning, and we've all agreed that this was not handled as well from a finance perspective, and they are 100% on board to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
100% agreed on to it. We are too, and we've had those discussions, as Jen and I have at the last meeting, about future moving forward. I know she's also discussed with the New York State DOT on this, because there's the thing of keeping the project moving forward, but also keeping the council appraised of what's happening with the project.
So I also want to let the council know that when we have monies that are coming in from federal agencies or state agencies, we have to provide additional information to these agencies in regards to audit process for our books and for the finances of it, And when we don't do it in the calendar year that it's supposed to happen or is happening, we get dinged by these agencies, and it does not reflect well on the city and the city finances. So that's obviously one of the key reasons why, as the finance commissioner, I'm very concerned about this, because the last thing we want is the DOT to say, these guys don't handle money well. Right? We don't want that. So we want to make sure that when we are supposed to get the bills, we get the bills that we submit to the, federal agencies or the state agencies as required. So let's ensure in future, I know we do a lot of work with GPI, that this does not happen again.
Understood, Commissioner. Like I said, I can't change the past, but in the future, we want to all be working together. We're all one team on this process.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions from?
Any other questions? Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments about the motion on the table?
We may have to add a piece for 2022 audit if required, to make sure that we've submitted this and that the comptroller's office knows.
Jen, can you go through that?
It's $638,540.24.
This is not the time to do that.
Okay.
But Jen, if the mayor has a question, please come over.
So, Jen, why don't you tell the public what were the process for approval of these change orders?
So my understanding this work was all done last year. My understanding of the process was that, again, things were moving very quickly, the project was underway, and that a discussion was had between my predecessor in coordination with DPW kind of about some of the work that needed to be done, and the decision was made to just keep moving it forward, which you brought up and we discussed is not the proper process or procedure. So as I understand it, the work was essentially authorized by my predecessor. It was not brought to City Council. And so we've been having lots of conversations about finding funding for this, and about what the appropriate and proper process is.
And I really appreciate, Jen, all the work that you've put in, because you were sort of handed this. And, all the meetings that I know that you've had with DPW, with finance, to make sure that we are finding the funds for this and that we are moving forward. And I know DPW has had a bunch of conversations to make sure that every single change was required and was the right amount that it should be. So it has been checked, it has been verified, we have found funding. We have done all the processes that need to happen to make sure that this was done correctly and done, to the satisfaction of all of City Council members. But this is not how it should have happened, and I think we've all agreed that
Correct.
we will ensure this doesn't happen in the future.
It's important, I think, to also point out, this money that will pay for this is state touring route money, correct? It is
Correct.
not coming out of
No, it's
the
not
budget
coming out of our budget.
the
It's
city of Saratoga Springs. It is a match of monies that is funding this, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's actually a neat thing about a lot of these projects. They basically sometimes are 100% reimbursement. So
Yeah.
you don't really get funded through the city upfront, but then there's reimbursement. So
Right.
And the reality of construction is there's always going to be change orders. That's
Correct.
just a fact of life.
No, I mean, we all understand that. I think what
Well,
should have
you
happened
stated
was,
your points very well.
Yeah. So, and inflation, I mean, we know that, some of those materials just cost a lot more, the resources were not there, and so on and so forth. So we get that, but it should have happened the way the third fire station is happening, that's all.
Well, one of the things about this project, if we go back and remember, it was started at the moment, I think it was the weekend that the farmers market was to open up after the pandemic. And the farmers market community came to me and said, you can't shut us down because we are just getting over a COVID and all, we were dealing with all that. And so we didn't. We worked with them, but it did increase some of the costs because basically then we went through the calendar, the construction calendar. GPI was very cooperative with us. We worked it out so that they were not, there was minimal disruption in their business, notwithstanding the fact that there was they were starting their first outdoor farm market for, I think, 18 months in a construction zone. And so that started the process, and unfortunately, that change order never got, we just never got the staff work to get that done. So, and that perpetrated some, but also there was, I recall a very specific change order was around the fountain, the spring, the natural spring there, because of essentially some contamination that was found there. So there were some unexpected issues. What happened though was those change orders did not come before the city council in a timely fashion, and that's why this occurred. So, but again, it's state touring route money. It's a one-to-one reimbursement that, and so it's not the city's taxpayer dollars that is going to this. Any other questions, comments?
Thank you, Jen. No, we have to vote.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on the motion at hand? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. That